If I was a general manager in the NFL and I did not have an elite quarterback and I was potentially in the quarterback market, my target, if I missed out on a Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, my target would be Minshew Mania, baby. It's running wild on the bottom line view. I'm talking about Gardner Minshew. That would be my target if I was a general manager and I needed a quarterback to start in 2022, but I was not in a position for an elite starter. Why Gardner Minshew? This guy? Are you kidding me? That guy? I mean, yes, that would be my guy, Gardner Minshew. So in this video, I'm going to explain why I believe Gardner Minshew is such a value right now for every NFL team to take a look at, and especially those NFL teams that are looking for a starter in 2022, but are not sure where they're going to get it from. Before I discuss why I love Gardner Minshew as a potential pickup for any quarterback needy NFL team, make sure that you do spike that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more BLV just like this, and get in that comment section and let me know if I'm correct, if I'm wrong, if this is a crazy take, or if this is a genius take. Let me know in the comment section below. Would you also trade for Gardner Minshew or not? I understand that Gardner Minshew isn't this big ticket item that you're going to sell your fan base on, that you're going to claim as your franchise quarterback, but he is a younger quarterback that is on a very, very affordable contract, and in many ways, in my opinion, is sort of a glitch. He's sort of a cheat code in the NFL this year. When I look at the landscape of the quarterback position, I look at it this way, and you let me know if you disagree. But personally, I see about 8 to 12 quarterbacks that are worth paying in this league that are big time. And there's a few others that are younger that we have really yet to determine their status as elite players, good players, very good players, or bad players. And then there's the rest of the NFL. And a lot of these quarterbacks that are on the market this season are middle of the road, not game-changing quarterbacks that are going to be paid more than they really should. They're going to come at a cost. And when I look at a value, a player that is a bargain, a player that you can build a team around, and I believe you can win with, Gardner Minshew is that quarterback. Look, Gardner Minshew has had success in the NFL. Gardner Minshew is a young quarterback, and I don't feel we have enough evidence of what Gardner Minshew is in this league to really suggest that we have seen the peak of Gardner Minshew yet either. On top of that, he's only making $2.5 million. $2.5 million in 2022. This is a quarterback that has started, that has won on some very bad teams, and has been productive in the NFL so far throughout his young career. His numbers throughout that time, and many of them are very comparable to many starters in this league, and honestly better than a lot of the guys on the market right now, which has me really scratching my head as to why more teams aren't interested in acquiring him. He's 8-14 as a starter in the NFL, mostly with the Jacksonville Jags, by the way, and no offense to Jacksonville fans, but you guys have kind of sucked. I'm not sure if you've noticed. 7-7 if you remove the year 2020 where Jacksonville had the worst team in the NFL, 63% completion percentage, 221 yards per game, 41 touchdowns to only 12 interceptions, a 93.9 passer rating, a 3.42 touchdown to interception ratio, which he doesn't have the amount of starts to qualify, but if he did, would be third all time. 1.86 touchdowns per game, which would rank 9th all-time, a 1.4 interception percentage, which would rank 2nd all-time, only below Aaron Rodgers, and understanding that he doesn't have the minimum pass attempts, but still, in the NFL, those are impressive numbers no matter how many pass attempts you have. In 2020, with the worst roster in the NFL, the team that finished 1-15, by the way, Minshew was the only quarterback to win a game with that team. Minshew was still pretty effective with that football team. 66 completion percentage, 16 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. 251 yards per game, and a 95.9 passer rating. These are not bad numbers whatsoever. They're actually quite good considering the surroundings and the supporting cast of what he dealt with that season. The other quarterbacks, well, you got Mike Glennon, who started many games in this league, and some guy named Jake Luton, or Lutton. 0-8 were those two quarterbacks combined. 59% completion percentage combined. 9 touchdowns to 11 interceptions combined, and 212 yards per game. That's a substantial difference. So you're talking about real backup quarterbacks versus Gardner Minshew's numbers on the same team in the same system with the same terrible players around them. Also, the famous backup quarterback, Nick Foles, in 2019, he was 0-4 with Jacksonville before Minshew took over that season, and he had 3 touchdowns in 4 games, did Nick Foles. Meanwhile, Minshew, 21 touchdowns in 12 games, and he went 6-6. He was 500, while Nick Foles couldn't win a single game in the first 4 weeks with the Jags. And then last season, it carried over with the best supporting cast he's ever had, 4 touchdowns to 1 interception, and a 104.8 passer rating with a 68% completion percentage. Minshew's numbers are strong, and they suggest that he should be given opportunity to start in this league. Last season, Minshew only made $677,000. That was such a value in comparison to the players in his range, which is exactly my point. The players around Gardner Minshew and what they're making in comparison to him and how good they are in comparison to him. Then you look at some of the quarterbacks that are making way more than Gardner Minshew, and you compare Minshew to that player and you say, what? This doesn't really make sense. But this is the way that quarterback contracts are structured. Due to the fact that Minshew was a later round pick, due to the fact that he's still on a rookie contract, he is not yet being paid or being overpaid, I should say, for his talents. And that's exactly why he is a cheat code financially for any NFL team that acquires him. This is why I love the deal for the Philadelphia Eagles. And this is why I feel that any NFL team, instead of going after a middle-of-the-road free agent, they should look at Minshew as a potential trade partner. Think of it this way. Would you rather have Jimmy Garoppolo, who is slated to make $26 million in 2022, who you also have to pay some capital to acquire, let's say a 3rd round pick, being generous here, or Gardner Minshew, who you probably have to trade a 4th rounder for, and he's making $23 million less? Just think of what you could do with that $23 million and Gardner Minshew in comparison to the talent of Jimmy Garoppolo. And this is, in my opinion, something that NFL teams need to look closer at. Would you rather have a lower end starter, let's just say that's Minshew, or a number 18, number 19 through number 15 best quarterback in the NFL, making significantly more money? What is the major difference there? Neither one is a game changer. Neither one can carry a team. Neither one can go above and beyond the system. So why would you rather have that player that's making substantially more money than the player that's making a lot less when they have similar skills and they're going to give you similar production? On top of that, you look at a free agency pool with guys like Jameis Winston and Teddy Bridgewater and Marcus Mariota. These players are likely going to be paid at least $10 million, but possibly more, somewhere in the range of $10 to $20 million for, let's say, a 1 to 2 year contract that is going to start for you or going to be a high-end backup. What's the difference between those players, who many of them are more set in stone with what we know them to be? They're not going to change. They're not going to get better. There is still at least a little sense of potential with Minshew given his limited sample size, but there's also enough of a sample to understand that we kind of know he's pretty good and at least capable of starting and winning games in this league, and he's making way less. Why wouldn't you give up a 4th round pick and pay $2.5 million this year for Minshew rather than pay Jameis Winston $15 to $20 million to play this year as your starting quarterback? Or especially a guy like Teddy Bridgewater, who, is he really even offering you more physically than Minshew? I would argue no, and he's probably going to cost you way more money. Gardner Minshew as a talent is underrated. He's efficient. He's accurate. He's smart with the football. He's also a deceptive athlete running for 23 yards per game. With a strong defense or a strong core around him, Minshew can be a winning quarterback in this league, given his intelligence, given his accuracy, and given his consistency, on top of many off-the-field things. He has great charisma. The players love him. The fan base loves him. You're going to sell a ton of jerseys. He's a character. Those things are all positives, and I feel like Minshew could definitely come into a place, command a room, and become a leader of a team. Even if you're a team like the Cleveland Browns, a good roster, a strong team that has expectations, and Baker Mayfield has a bit of a letdown season as he did last year. Wouldn't you want somebody that you can turn to, that you know can start, that has a similar skill set to your starter and can fill in and maybe even go on a Ryan Fitzpatrick type run? Because honestly, that's the way I look at Gardner Minshew. He's kind of like the young Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's somebody that's never really truly ever going to be a franchise quarterback, but I feel for the next 10 years could maybe find himself starting on numerous different teams and numerous different occasions and situations and being successful because of his traits, but he's never really truly ever going to be given that role as a franchise quarterback. And that's fine. We need quarterbacks like that in this league, but that's exactly what makes him a promising, undervalued asset in the NFL, because you know he can do this. He's just not paid the way that these other guys are currently. I don't think there's a more valuable bridge quarterback asset or a more valuable backup than Gardner Minshew, given the contract, given the skill set, and given all the off-field traits that you'd love to see from a quarterback. When you compare him to the other players that are open on the market, that are free agents, or other players that are even starting in this league that are around the same caliber, Minshew's numbers are impressive even next to those players who many people would consider are better talents, are better players, are better fits to start in the NFL. The only one that has substantially better numbers is Jimmy Garoppolo, but I would also argue that Garoppolo has had some of the best systems, some of the best coaching, and some of the best rosters when he started in the NFL with the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan, with Bill Belichick and the Patriots. Garoppolo's numbers are a tier above all these other players, but other than Garoppolo, you look at guys like Tua and Winston and Bridgewater and Daniel Jones and Carson Wentz and Goff and Darnold and Trubisky and Mariota. All of these players, Minshew stacks up very well against. You just look at where he ranks. Touchdown to interception ratio, first. Passer rating, first. Like, that's no fluke, people. I understand he doesn't have as big of a sample size as these other players, but you consider that he played for Jacksonville in most of his starts, and then you start to say, why doesn't this guy have an opportunity? Why isn't he in a competition to start somewhere? And that's what, to me, makes him such a value. You put him next to Winston. You put him next to Wentz. You put him next to all of these guys. Many of them have much higher draft capital spent on them, much bigger names, and a history. Minshew outshines them, has outperformed them, is younger than them, costs less than them. That is why, if I was a general manager, I would absolutely be paying for Gardner Minshew. If I couldn't afford Russell Wilson, if I couldn't get Aaron Rodgers, if I was not in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes, I would be trading for Gardner Minshew. He costs less than everybody. He's played as well, if not better than everybody else. He's got just as good, if not better, of a presence off the field than anybody else. He's younger than everybody else. He is the solution to me if you're a general manager looking for a quarterback, for a bridge player that you can get a good product out of, but pay less and build your roster around. Minshew is that answer. So that is why I value Gardner Minshew as somebody that a lot of NFL teams should be looking to trade for this offseason. Let me know in the comment section below how you feel about Minshew. Do you agree with what I've said here? Are you surprised by the evidence I've given? Let me know in the comment section below. I don't think a lot of people realize how productive he's been so far in his career and how undervalued Minshew is currently. Thanks for watching. It's Mitch of The Bottom Line View. Gronk, spike that like button and subscribe for more. Peace.